Hello, welcome to Present Times Linux, where tonight I'm actually going to be doing two installs at the same time. It's going to be Xubuntu and Trinity Test. This is to see why I get annoyed at Ubuntu installer, and it's a speed thing. So before I do anything else, I'm going to say now that I've given Ubuntu 4GB RAM, 2 processors, VTX KVM, 128 mega video memory, and yeah, okay. On the Trinity, same layout, except I've only give it a gig of RAM. Okay, so we'll start Ubuntu off first. Start. And for some reason it's doing this even though I've already put the ISO bloody in there. Bear with me, I'm going to have to hunt it down, aren't I? Add, there's Ubuntu. Open. Choose. And start. I'm using VirtualBox 6.1 RC by the way, so we've started Ubuntu up. Off. Do the same for Trinity. So Ubuntu's having a little bit of a head start I guess, but it isn't really because it's only going to be going to the screen as it were. So we'll choose that. And it's my latest build of Trinity as of like a couple of days ago. I haven't really messed with it. So we're at the start screen there, and I must admit it has booted from a live medium really quickly, and it does. Kudos to the Ubuntu team for that. So again, we'll go. Oh, for some reason I've got some screen corruption on VirtualBox that I didn't have earlier on, but there we go. So we'll get them both to where the installer's there. That seems fair to me, because it is about installing after all. So I'll do the install Ubuntu bit, and it's got to the keyboard, and I'll leave it there just for a second while I wait for Trinity to boot. And I'm just trying to there we go, now I grabbed it. Make them a bit even on the screens here, so they're literally side by side. And it does take a bit longer for mine to detect. Oh, incidentally, let's have a look at the size of the ISOs here, so we're not cheating because of the file size. Big Daddy Trinity comes in at 2.3 gigabytes, right? And I think it's in downloads for Ubuntu, and it is. And Ubuntu comes in at 1.5 gigabytes, so there is literally a 700 megabyte difference, or thereabouts. And 800, yeah, 700 megabytes, isn't it? 1500, was 600? Sorry, 600, whatever. Anyway, my maths out. Anyway, I've got UK keyboard set up there, and we'll go next on that. Okay, I'm at the installer there, I want the installer here, so I'll go UK on here, and I will go through the installer on Ubuntu first. So we'll click continue. Now I won't be doing updates because mine will not be doing updates, so that's fair as well. I will click continue and wait to get to its partitioning screen. So I'll wait for it to get to its partitioning screen, and this is just an experiment for myself actually. It's a bit of a race, if you like, kind of. I'm not hitting play at the same time and timing the two different things. It's literally giving Ubuntu a head start. Erase disk and install Ubuntu, yes, so it's still there. Continue. UK, yes. So ignore all this because like it's probably already installing and it is in the background there, so I'm giving it a fair head start in the stakes. Would you agree? OK and continue. And that's copying files. So we'll go to the PC loss, use free space, yes. Computing total size. As you can see, Ubuntu's having a fairly good head start there. Format selected partitions, next. Formatting done, and it's starting to copy the files. So we'll just see how this goes now. Now remember that the installers are different in that you've noticed that I haven't had to put any username creds into Trinity, and that's because that does it on first boot, whereas the installer on Ubuntu will do it in on the first part of the install, so when you reboot it's all ready for you. So it's two different concepts for doing the same job really, you know. So it's all good. Of course it's already sorted out on Ubuntu where you are for the time zones and stuff, and keyboard layout. All that's done on mine is the keyboard layout and the partitioning and the copying. So they're both copying, they're both going to the same hard drive, they're both going to an SSD, but they're actually being written from a, I don't know, is it SSD to SSD? It may be. So anyway, you can see that my RAM usage is 83% on Conky there because I'm using 5 gig between the two VMs. I couldn't give 4 gig to PC Linux OS and to Ubuntu. I could have gave them 2.5 each or 2 each, but I thought I'm going to be as fair as I can because XFCE isn't a big and Trinity isn't a big DE. XFCE does require a little more RAM than Trinity, that's just fact. So I decided to give a gigabyte to Trinity and Ubuntu 4 gigabytes of RAM. So 5 in total used between the two VMs out of the 8 that's installed in the system, which is left around about 3 without swapping for Simple Screen Recorder and VirtualBox. And at the moment this downloads folder which can get closed. So actually what we will do is have a look at HTOP to see how well my machine is behaving, although saying that we do have Conky there telling us that the CPU usage, but you can see I'm using 6.5 gigabytes of RAM. You see the percentage, 84%, it's 6.5 gig of RAM being used. And you can see that VirtualBox is using most of that with Simple Screen Record using a little bit as it goes in and out of thingy. I've got a load of 3.88 and the CPU is going to get a bit bashed here as it's copying and uncompressing. Remember, it is uncompressing on the fly. On PC Linux OS, whereas Ubuntu by looks of it copies the files over then does the uncompressing stage. I may be wrong on that, I'm hoping someone tells me I'm wrong on that, but it does seem to do the Windows thing. So we'll quit out of HTOP, which is just give me a little bit more resources use if you think about it. Not much, 1 or 2 megabytes, but don't matter when I'm limited on resources anyway. To really cut things down on memory footprint on my own OS in the background, I could stop some services and all that kind of business, but I haven't done that. It's literally from whatever's running is running. So you can see my CPU temperatures going up nicely between 78 and 80 degrees Celsius. The fans are spinning at around about 4000 RPM. Keeping things nice and cool. 74 is not a hot CPU whatsoever, although it does feel a bit toasty on my knees. So we'll continue this, and it's Ubuntu's got to the installing system stage, so it's copied all its files and now it's installing those files. You can tell that by the red icon going red and green at the bottom of the hard drive there, just set to port 0, and you can see it is on the SSD. Home present SSD is definitely my SSD. I can prove that later on if you want me to. And exactly the same drive, but I've called it TrimTest on the SSD. And this is copying from the ISO to the hard drive on the fly. Now we have the retrieving file. And remember, there's a 600 megabyte difference in the size of the ISO, so that matters. And here's what's going on now is you'll probably notice on Conky in a minute that my network is going to be going a bit crazy because it's updating its repos. Even though I asked it not to download any updates because, yeah, the reason for that is because I won't be installing updates in the installer as well. So I've tried to keep things on a level playing field there, to be fair. But you can see it's going to be taking a minute or so to do that. And remember, the install isn't finished just because I'm at the grub screen here. I still have to reboot Trinity and enter my details in. So we've got the bootloader progress on the one side. I already chose where to install the bootloader on the Ubuntu side, so that should be taken care of already at the end of the install without me having to interject into it. So the two installers are very different, and I think the compression is very different. Okay, so it's telling me I need to reboot, which we will do now. Mine's using a 3.4 kernel. So it's going in for its first boot. So I'll let that boot up, and I said the setup process isn't finished until I've entered the time zone and root password and username and password. And I won't be cheating by saying no password for quickness because I had to enter a password on Ubuntu. So we're just waiting for it to boot now on the right hand side, which gives a black screen. It's because it's sorting things out like hardware and such forth. Now I can do the same trick with all the other Ubuntus. Retrieving files seems to have stopped 0 KB downloads on the folder. I'm not quite sure whether my network's gone down or not. I'm hoping not. Okay, it's configuring time zone and creating user. So it's catching up. I'm not quite sure what's happening on the PC loss side. Okay, it's bringing up P0 apparently. And we're downloading more language packs for I think I've already installed the language packs on my side, but there we go. So of course we'll go to the time zone, and I'm not racing here as you can see. I mean, I'm being pretty chilled. I think the race is alright. I've got 7 minutes to input the time zone and my password, so we will do that. As promised, I said I wouldn't skip anything. Okay, and we'll click next, and now I can log in. Alright, this is at the first boot and installed. Done. Ready to use once the icons are moved along there. Times are done, and I'm ready to go to work. Now, I haven't updated on any of them, so I will actually put up the updater. Now, I do realise that Ubuntu is an older ISO than mine. I appreciate it. A lot more updates to come. I appreciate that. That isn't about that, but I'm just seeing if I can without having Ubuntu being updated, if I can actually, okay, mark all upgrades, mark apply, apply. I want to see what's been installed here, libdvd read. Now I just want to see what's in the updates. New My Life CD I see there, X servers, all that kind of business. Okay, so we can go apply there, and there's 49 updates, so we'll let that carry on. And of course it's sharing the bandwidth now with the language packs of Ubuntu. So although I've only got 370, yet you can see the time going up there because I'm using half the thingy. So maybe that's a bit unfair, so actually what I'm going to do is cancel. I have cancelled the downloading of the updates on PC Linux OS because that is unfair. As you can see the time's dropped back down to 5 minutes remaining, so you can say you can add another minute off. A minute, I'm going to be generous, 1 minute 60 seconds off the install time for Ubuntu because I kind of jeopardised it a little bit there. I hope that's fair for everyone. Meanwhile though, yeah, I can check this out. I could already be working away, although the updates haven't been done yet, but then again they haven't been done on Ubuntu either. It's just downloading packs. So I can already go into Office Writer and be working away on whatever I'm doing, more productive. Now, this here is GTK. You can see that I've got a problem with GTK because I'm an idiot. And I have to retheme it, and that's fine. That will be sorted by the time. So what I'm saying is about the Ubuntu installer. This what it's doing now, the language packs. It probably only has to do one language pack. Yes, and there's a LibreOffice update available. And that will be updated by the time it's released, because I do know it's in the repo already for the update script for LibreOffice. And it will be the same for Ubuntu as well, where if you got LibreOffice installed, I don't know what's installed to be perfectly fair, then it will be needed to be updated. So we've got another 3 minutes and 20 odd seconds remaining. So I do have a cup of coffee actually, so I am going to be drinking that while it's doing it and just nattering my head off. I'm not going to pause the video, just in case I get any accusations of me cheating. I could place this into a video editor and speed it up, but nah. You'll see as is, including me slurping my coffee. Just saying. You will see that now Trinity is actually up and running, that my RAM on the actual main machine here, on the host, is 93%. But CPU usage is nice and low, the processor's nice and cool, so there's nothing actually happening on Thingy. And if you're wondering how much RAM we are taking, let me open up a shell here and remove this business. I do leave that to show, I could actually leave that off. But we're running at 272 megabytes out of the Giga RAM. If I gave it 4 Giga RAM, it could use about 280 megabytes, another 8 megabytes on top usage. But as people telling me that isn't the full story, and that's fair. So if I got, I don't have 8-stop installed. See, I've got to install 8-stop. So I will do that actually. Well, not the repos I think, because I've synced them already. and I don't think it's going to take much time off there to install HTOP. Well, at least I'm hoping not. Pre-install lock, blah blah, boom, done. Okay, that took literally a second, so no time off for good behaviour, you Ubuntu, because I installed HTOP. Let me exit out of root, HTOP, and yeah, 269 meg out of the 1 gig. So it's even reading before that, but you gotta remember it's only using the green memory, and the rest is cache and whatever. So that's rather cool. That's rather cool. So that's what we're running at on 23, which is why I only gave it a gig of RAM, because I knew it can run a potato basically. It is really lightweight. In fact, I mean, it'd be a bit unfair to me to go HTOP on mine. Applications, more applications, HTOP. Yeah, I'm running at 7.3 gig and just gone into swap actually. Which won't slow things down as much as you think, because that's just taking some dirty bits. And I'm going to be even more fair to Ubuntu now. I'm going to turn off the VM. I'm done with Linux, with PC Linux OS. Here's oops, wrong one. So I've managed to install PC Linux OS, or my Trinity OS, and yes, I did say, but the packages, I had another 600 megabytes of packages to transfer than I did on Ubuntu. And you can see the RAM's just gone down by 20% as I close that VM. What's 20% is 8 gig? 400 meg maybe, including the wrapper, the VM wrapper, and everything it has to boot as well. Because remember, there is a overhead on the host for the virtual machine itself, regardless of what's been installed inside it. So me closing that VM closed a lot more than the 270 or 280 megabytes it was using of the RAM while running on the OS itself inside the guest. The host also has to allocate more memory than that to the actual guest for the wrappings and trimmings here and the underlying fake BIOS and fake hardware, software hardware. Does that make sense? I hope so. So it's preparing the help files for LibreOffice. So LibreOffice is installed. And after this has installed, I'll install the I'll think of the name of it in a minute, but I think they call them guest editions in English. So yeah, I'll install the guest editions and we'll have a look around Ubuntu before the video ends. I'm not even sure how long we are into the stream. I mean, I don't know, Simple Screen Recorder actually tells me. We've been going a total of 23 minutes on the video so far. At a steady 30 frames a second at 1080. And the file is 66 megabytes, which is meh. And a bit rate of like going up and down between a kilobit a second to thingy for the video bit rate, of course, because it isn't doing anything right now. So we've been going for like how long? Yeah, nearly 25 minutes. So just the installs are long gas install, that's all I'm saying. You've seen me like made it as fair as I can, at least I think so. If I haven't, if you think I've done something that seems underhanded in any way, tell me. I will take it on board, but I'm honestly telling you that the two VMs, Trinity Test here, which is what I used, is other 64-bit, 1 gig RAM, 2 processors, KVM, 128 meg on the video, and an 18 gig hard drive, and on Ubuntu, which is running, boom here, 4 gig of RAM, so I gave it 4 times the amount of memory allocated. Again KVM, again 128, and again 18 gig of hard disk space. So, you know, I've matched them as much as I could within the specs. If I had a beefier, if I had 16 gig of RAM, I would have gave each VM 4 gig to make it an even match. But I gave the advantage, I think the advantage to Ubuntu. I even started the installer first, and when it was copying, I then switched over to Thingy, and the PC Linux OS installer still trounced it. It may be because a different compression. We do use a different compression system. I think use Ubuntu and may even use Xed rather than ZSTD as I do. So the compression's different. Obviously the setting up's different, and for some reason, even though you don't install downloads, it still does a repo update. And I won't be running side-by-side package installations, not because there's an advantage to Ubuntu, it's because I'm imagining Ubuntu has far more to install than I do, and so that will be an uneven race. The packages won't be the same, there'll be a lot more updates for Ubuntu, and it is downloading packages regardless. I don't know what it's downloading, but it's downloading something from the old interwebs. And I can't see what that is. Can you? No. It is not telling me. Let's see if I can make this screen a bit bigger for people and for my blind eyesight. So what are you downloading? It says it's downloading packages, but there's absolutely no log to say what it's doing. At least it gives you a screen to say where parts of the installer is, where mine don't, and that's fair. But yeah, what is going on here? Migrating potential DNS violation. What? Try transaction within reserve level UDP. Fair enough. System BD thing there going on. Oh, excuse me, I was just finishing off my coffee. So we got another 2 minutes added on now for the downloaded packages. Now these might be packages that are actually needed for the OS. It's found that I'm in a VM or whatever, it's downloaded the nice packages for that. Or whatever. I honestly don't know. I truthfully don't know. Again, the VirtualBox version I'm using is 6.10. The release candidate, and it's in the PC Linux OS testing repo, so if you're expecting to find it on PC Linux OS when you're not got testing enabled, or you're not a tester, you don't want to go to really bleeding cutting edge, yeah, let's not do that. I'm also running on the host system 5.4.1. I found out what the problem was. It was GDM. That's right, the name display manager I use. Why? I have no idea. Truthfully, not a clue. But when I swapped to LXDM, I did have a couple of choices to choose from, but I chose LXDM because I know that one's second better, if that makes any sense. Yeah, no corruption. And the way I worked that one out was I tried, me and Techstar and whatever, in the forum, in the testing section of the forum, which is where the kernel actually resides. It's not meant for general release yet in PC Linux OS. Is that I'm the only one that seems to have the corruption, so I was wondering if it was my Haswell onboard Intel POS chip, right? I wonder if there was a driver issue with that. So I thought, okay, so if I told Xserver to use Visa instead, or a frame buffer even, a frame buffer driver, which would impact performance fine, but I was just wondering, but it wouldn't work for me. For some reason Visa just went, you got no, you're supposed to have no KMS, or something like that, on the thingy. So I did that, but it only went through a black screen, and then I had no screens found, because I hadn't naffed things up. So I told XF Drake, which is a really nice way of configuring your graphics cards, by the way. I've just done XF Drake double dash auto to load back in the Intel driver and so on, because I'm lazy. And yeah, I still had a little bit of corruption, but I didn't have the corruption when I used StarText versus letting the GDM take control of the machine, if you see what I mean. Display manager. So I thought, it's got to be GDM. So I tell the DM service, and then I started X again, no corruption. So it wasn't the Linux driver or the Intel driver for definite. So what's happening with GDM? I do not know. So what I did was I downloaded LXDM. I don't have LightDM in the repo, so it was LXDM, which is the next best thing for me personally. And yeah, just use that. And as you can see, I have no screen corruption, no font corruption. I had funny fonts, whether that be on Conky, inside a terminal, whatever. I didn't have it on, it was only in the X server, by the way, it wasn't on TTY. So I was thinking, what the? So now I'm using LXDM while I'm running the 5.4.1 kernel. Everything else is working as it should. Also in the testing repo was the VirtualBox 6.10 downloader. So, I thought I'll have some of that. But as you saw at the beginning of the video, where I started picking NixOS up, on the grub screen there was a bit of corruption, but after that it's fine. And Ubuntu just boots straight into the installer anyway, so that was fine. So nice one. Oh, by the way, I didn't use EFI on any of them. EFI for PC Linux OS is fixed on 6.1. So those who want to try EFI on 6.1 of VirtualBox, you don't need to go into the, when grub has crashed, well not crashed, it brings up like the grub prompt. You can click exit. You can actually go into the boot thingy and find a file for it and boot it that way. You don't need to anymore. That has now been fixed. So anyway, we're setting up the kernel, which is 5.3.0, sorry. Yes, it is 5.3.0, as it was on release. I'm not quite sure what the .24 generic is. Is that the 24th try? I never know. I'll have to ask somebody about that. Why do I have a .24? Whereas Pencil Linux OS, you know when, like, there's been a re-release of a kernel that's already out. For argument's sake, there's 5.4.1 PC Lost 1. If it had to be re-imaged, if you like, if it had to be recompiled, because, I don't know, forgotten something when compiling, it will be PC Lost 2, and so on and so forth. So I'm just wondering if they've had 24 tries. Okay, we are at the restart computer now. Woohoo! So let's reboot, and I think Ubuntu will eject the CD. We'll soon find out. Yep, got FSD1 clean. Yeah, this is normal Ubuntu boot. With little graphical corruption just happening right there on the Plymouth, but that's fine. You probably wouldn't have noticed it, but it was circling. You had two very, very fine white lines happening. So I'm there. I don't know what DM this is using, but it does look like an XDM actually, but not. It's probably an XFCE thing because I see the mouse at the top. Did I not put my password in? Oh, there we go. I forgot to hit enter on my knob. So we come to this desktop, and if you've seen Steve's video stream, you'll see this is what you see. So at the box, we got the software updater opened up right away, and it's telling me it needs 187.4 megabytes to download. So I knew it would be a lot of downloads. So let's see what we do. It does need to download, which I won't do right now, by the way. I will not bore you with it. The Ubuntu is normally quite good for updating anyway and not breaking, in fairness to it. So it is Ubuntu based with an XFCE shell. So we've got the tracker submission Ubuntu base. Oh, it does need the Ubuntu base. Let's have a look underneath there. Crash generation. Okay, fair enough. Bind. DNS share library for bind. GNL spell checker, interpreter for PostScript languages. Okay. Kernel headers. Fair enough. Maybe meaning that there'll be an update kernel. I don't see one there actually, unless I've missed it. No. Then we got the LibreOffice runtime. And another one called Ubuntu base, so let's click that. Scroll down. Automatically installation of security upgrades. Okay, fair enough. Minimal FC, blah blah. Okay, it does have a few updates. It's only to be expected. As I said, I won't be running them now. I didn't run them on mine. I was going to, and I thought, no, that'd be unfair because I didn't ask this too. So I'll remind myself for later. There we go. Let's go to the old menu here. And I must admit, it isn't the best looking. I mean, it's not MX XFCE, is it? In fairness. It's not ugly, don't get me wrong, it looks like it's using Adwaita icons though. Yeah. So, we'll probably try and beautify it a little bit, but it seems to be like a stock, within reason, stock XFCE install, to be fair. Which allows you to make it your own. It's not really that much pre-themed. So that isn't that bad in fairness. So, yeah, let's go to accessories. Let's see what we got here. We've got the Catfish file search, which is very cool. Carries a map. The file search is really quite good on this. We've got a file manager, fonts, Mate calculator, fair enough. Mousepad, notes, onboard, what's that, the onboard screen keyboards, yeah. Screenshot, terminal emulator, which will be probably XFCE's. XFburn and things like that. So let's bring up the terminal emulator and let's see if we've got Edgetop installed. We don't, so we can do sudo apt install Edgetop. Of course it wants my bloody password, and yeah, Edgetop is in. Yeah, you install that on Ubuntu isn't as fast as it is on PC Linux OS. It seems to have to trigger menus and all that business. Okay, fair enough. Anyway, Edgetop. 384 meg out of 4 gig. So that's fine. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. That is typical for XFCE on a fresh install. Let me exit the terminal there, which would have been GNOME terminal, not GNOME terminal, XFCE's terminal. So what else have we got? We've got Screenshot and XFburn, which is our burning utility for CDs, DVDs, etc. Under education, will be LibreOffice Math, it is. Games, we got Mines, Puzzles and Sudoku. Fair enough. Keep you busy for a little while. A little collection. On the graphics, we do have GIMP. With a Zetto, LibreOffice Draw and a document scanner. Very cool. Internet, we already knew we got Firefox because I saw it in the updates. Pidgin, very cool. Thunderbird for the mail and a transmission, which is a very good BitTorrent client. For those using BitTorrent client, I'm not doing this as a review. I know I got Biddle on Saturday. I'm hoping to turn up for that. In which case I will be using this a bit more. To be fair, I won't be doing any videos on it. I'll just see what I can do about using it on another machine actually. That will be a better idea than me rubbing off my Trinity build that I'm trying to build for Saturday regardless. We got Pro Media Player, do not know Pro. Let's have a look. Pro Media Player, visit Pro. Okay, that's cool. And I have to admit this is pretty snappy. I've got no problem with the speed of the OS whatsoever so far. Just the installer is slow, which is why I've done the comparison really. I just want Ubuntu to just look at the comparisons. I mean, if anybody wants me to compare a Ubuntu install against something else, not a Ubuntu base obviously, you know, or even PCNXS based, I've just done that, and regardless of what ISO I would have used, the installer's the same, so it would have spanked Ubuntu for the speed of install regardless. However, that's only the install, but it matters to me. I like to install stuff and carry on with my life, you know what I mean? I don't want to be waiting for it. So the part where it's doing the update of the repos, that it could be doing now, as I'm doing this, in the background, on a cron job. They could be saying, okay, it's been booted for 5 minutes, let's go out and download the repos in the background. No, update update, or apt update, whatever it is for the mechanism, right? As I'm working this now, that's how mine runs it in the background, so I already know I just didn't give it a chance to update, that's all. So anyway, yeah, where are we? Do apologise, we're on the back of a side tangent there. Transmission, right, and we've done multimedia, volume control of course, except Burns there. Office, LibreOffice, we have not all of LibreOffice. Why? Why is there no base? Does someone not use databases on Ubuntu? I'm just asking. It seems to be always left out. But we got Writer, we got the spreadsheet and the Impress, which is the PowerPoint, Draw, yeah, which is like a little graphical program. Oh, sorry, Calc's a spreadsheet, isn't it? Math is the educational mathematic equations and all that kind of business drawing. We have the actual document viewer for PDFs and dictionary, which is actually quite a good dictionary. We come to settings, about me, these are the XFCE settings are called, and we are using LightDM, okay. Just in case anyone was interested, I wasn't sure what the DM was. Excuse me. Expensibilities, we've got additional drivers for those who need third party or proprietary drivers. I include proprietary drivers on mine, I really don't give up. Honestly, NVIDIA drivers, just put them in there, out the box. And test them obviously, with people with NVIDIA or whatever, just put them in the box, man. Appearance of course, Bluetooth adapters, Bluetooth manager, desktop displays, the usual XFCE stuff that you would find in the XFCE. Software updates of course isn't XFCE. That's a Ubuntu thing. But yeah, you can find all your stuff here that you need. Window manager, all that kind of stuff, things to beautify it, you get the idea. And of course I put HTOP in, and there's also an easy to use task manager. We've got Thudar and Gigolo. So very cool. I think Gigolo is one of those tools that's used for file transfer, FTP, SFTP, etc., etc. Actually, I'm going to have a look at Gigolo to see if I am right on that. Yes, it is. So, yeah. Okay, that's cool. And it's left itself up there in the background. Quit. Didn't ask you to do that. So, what else do we have? Right click. We can open the terminal here. Desktop settings. Boom. Let's see what wallpapers we have, people. I've got quite a nice selection of wallpapers here, as you can see. A lot of them for the Ubuntu theme, including the background one we are using right now. But we do have this lovely little tree. If I move out the way of the thingy, nice reflections, nice midnight sunset, very dark. We also have, yeah, a frosty leaf, if you like. Very cold brew. Some stone art from the ancients. I'm not quite sure where it's originated from, so I won't try and embarrass myself. Although I do that anyway. Galaxy scene, which is really nice actually. And nearly last but not least, we have the rails for the photographs. And we have these kind of abstract art here with the trees, with the blue background. Very cool. So actually, I am going to do that, right. And I've also noticed I've run out of space, so let me close that for a moment. And I need to go Control C, because yeah, my next job is to be installing some of these. Okay, I've inserted it, but is it doing anything? Okay, it's summed up the thing, and you can see everything's locked. So I'm going to actually right click this and see if I can open a terminal here. One of the nice things about XFCE, to be honest. So I've got a terminal there, and I want to go sudo. Now someone's going to say, oh, you don't do it that way, Ali. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Right, put in my usual virtual box, and you can see I'm running 6.1 RC1 guest editions. So what I will do is Control F that to make it a big. If I use Control H, it will shut down the VM as it sends a signal to the VM to say, oi, someone's hit your power button, bud. So there you go. So I'll let it build. I may need to reboot afterwards. Before I get the guest editions working. I have to on some Linuxes, I don't have to on other Linuxes. And it all depends, and it isn't a systemd thing either. There we go, it's working now. There we are. We have a full screen of thingy. I can now eject that. Boom. Kick that out of the system. Okay, let's see if we can beautify this just a little bit, yes. Multimedia is obviously not what I am wanting. Right, where's XFCE settings? XFCE terminal. Blah 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 blah. Is that it? Ah, all settings. There we go. I'm happier now. Yes, much better. Believe it or not, I just like these kind of things. So we'll go to the appearance, and we'll go Adway to dark. Oh, much better. Much better. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's improved things a bit. It actually has. I think this is a whiskey menu, right? I could be wrong. I'm no expert on XFCE. We've got the icons. It's got elementary XFCE darker. I thought it had weighted the icons at first. It's that colour. Sorry. But we've got humanity dark. What's that like? Actually, that isn't too bad, is it? Login icons, yep, not bad. Mono dark, okay. Mono light, I don't see the difference. I'm using the desktop for reference here, of course. I've got City Dark and City Darkest. I don't see the difference there either. It may be for other icons that are not on the desktop or in a say sooner. So let me see. File Manager. That's normally a good way of seeing what icons are thingy, isn't it? Yeah, okay. Oh right, okay. Manage Dark. Nope, I see no difference. I do see a difference in different icons that come up for the file system up there. So that's why I've left that there. Ubuntu Dark. Okay. So I'll leave it on Humanity Dark because it isn't bad. Fonts. Okay. And settings. Icons show images on buttons and so on and so forth. Very cool. Let's go back to all settings. Window Manager. Let's see what we can do with the Window Manager. Greybird, Kodi, Numix, etc. So this gives, as you can see, the title bar at the top, style. Yeah, that one's probably more for your touch screens and anything else, that big one. Well, extra high DPI screens, as it's called there. Greybird. Yeah, it's really quite nice, not a problem there at all. Title alignment center. Okay. Greybird compact. Kodi, which is very blue. Back to Numix. And I can't remember what it was defaulted of. Oh yeah, default would be default, wouldn't it? Okay, that's rather cool. Keyboard is the key bindings to allow you to do different stuff via your keyboard rather than your mouse. Very cool. Have a look in there to see what key bindings are what, and then you'll see. Okay, click to focus, of course, automatically whatever. Raise whenever. Well, it's single click or double click. It's double click. Okay, that's the point off Ubuntu. Double click. We're not on Windows now, chap. Come on, work it out. Yeah, very cool. Believe me, it's there's no points off for double click, single click. It's absolutely personal preference as to which you like personally. There's a lot of people that don't like double click. There's a lot of people that don't like single click, and yeah, that's just sad. Oops, I just set the acceleration, but that's alright. I was looking to scroll down to see if there was single or double click, but that's probably handled by the file manager here. So if I go to view, edit settings, preferences, maybe, yeah. Folders, blah 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 blah. Side behavior, boom. Single click, yeah, there we go. Let's have some intelligence about the place. There we go, nice one. And movable drives and media, Bluetooth managers, adapters, additional drivers if you need them, software updates of course, and the usual thing. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this video up now, and the reason being is I've been on it far too long, and we've had a little overview. We've done the race between two installers, installing to an SSD by the way on both of them, so it wasn't that I was cheating by, oh yeah, we'll put Ubuntu on the slow spinning Rust and we'll put PC Linux OS on an SSD, you see which one's quicker. No, they were both on exactly the same drive, so yeah, so it's probably not even saturating the SSD with any of them. Yes, so there you go, it's Ubuntu, quite nice actually. Yeah, I can't see anything against it. You know, I'm not a Ubuntu user, I'm not really even an XFCE user. However, it is snappy, there's nothing wrong with that at all. If I Click. Why am I still on single click? What is going on here? Yeah, if I double click for the file manager, it opens. I see the behaviour of the single click only inside the file manager. Really? Okay, whatever. There maybe is another place for single click on the desktop, whatever. I haven't found it, and it probably is there, and someone will tell me, oh, you're an idiot. Yes, I am. So, with that, I'm going to bid you all good night. My overall impression of Ubuntu so far is actually quite favourable. Please, you Ubuntu people, please, you big T, sort it out, man. Please. That was like a Windows install for me. Don't do that. I don't know of any other OS, and when this is just my complaint, and you say, well, you only used the installer once. Yeah, I do, but what if I have to install on 20 computers? You know, and I've got to go around them all. You know, and supposing that I've got a USB stick for every computer, so I've got 20 USB sticks, but it's still going to take me 20 minutes. You know, in that 20 minutes, even if I had one piece of Linux OS stick, I can do 5 of them. All I'm saying, without updating, I know. And if I was on real hardware, I would have allowed the updates to be downloaded. You know, as it says time at the end, but not really. It really doesn't. Just stop that. It could be doing now, as I'm talking now. You know what I mean? If need be. That not the updates, but the actual repo update. You know, the apt update part of it could work. You know. I am just saying. Sort it out. Just cut that bit of code out. The Python script that you're using for Ubiquity. Where it says this is where we download the repos and the language packs. It already knows I'm in the UK, so I'm going to be using English anyway. It doesn't need from the Ubuntu to download language packs for other languages. I can do that post install and only use another language pack if I speak French, German, Italian, whatever. Unless multiple nationalities are in my house, which may happen. Right, but there's a good chance they'll know English anyway, just saying. It's just annoying that you have to wait for the installer, and it's only a small gripe, but for someone who's impatient as me, and I'm an impatient man, I like things to open, boom, and if anything's taking him more than a second and a half, I'm saying, what's slowing this machine down? But 10 minutes of that install was downloading on my internet connection, admittedly not the fastest, but imagine someone on an equally a really slow connection, that is just going to be excruciating. If I was on a 10 megabit a second line, I wouldn't have cared about it because it would have just went wop, done in about half a minute. Big deal. But for someone with a slower internet connection, that is a big bullseye. So anyway, yeah, that's my take. Have a very good night, and Wednesday morning now, I think. And I'll be seeing you soon. Take care, God bless, and I'll see you on the next one.